Hey, my name is Paige Garwood. Welcome to another episode of The Emerging Composer. For the next 5 podcasts, I'm going to be focusing on what I think are real-life rubber meets the road, not music theory applications that we're going to need to be successful in today's music scene. We're going to start with building the circle of fifths and show you how to use the circle of fifths to find out what you need to know about any piece of music you're looking at. What key is it in? What chords am I looking for? What scales would apply in a soloing situation or a melody situation? And then we're going to end up talking about how chords move, some basic chordal movement rules. And if you haven't heard already, I am offering for $12 a workbook that will encompass all 5 of these podcast episodes. Not just this one, but all 5 of these podcast episodes. It'll contain every slide that you're going to see in these 5 podcasts. And I'm offering it for $12. All you have to do is email me at page@emergingcomposer.com or ffog@me.com. Say, I want that workbook, and I will give you my PayPal information. And as soon as you drop that money in my PayPal account, I zip it off to you post haste. All right, without any further ado, let's launch ourselves into Chapter 1, Drawing the Circle of Fifths. Circle of Fifths. Step 1, you got to draw a circle. Remember, it's called the Circle of Fifths, not the Octagon of Fifths. So we're going to start with the circle. Step 2, draw your sniper scope in. Put the little lines at the 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. Make your sniper scope. Step 3, you're going to put 2 lines in between the pairs of lines you just drew, right? So 2 lines in between 12 and 3, 2 lines in between 3 and 6, 6 and 9, 9 and 12. You're going to end up with 12 spots like you'd expect to see in a clock face. So why didn't I just say that in the first place? Well, I thought the sniper scope thing was kind of funny. Lighten up. Now you're going to split this circle in half. See, I got a dotted line going from the 12 to the 6 clock position. And then you're going to put little numbers on the inside here, going clockwise, starting with 0 at the top. You're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side, going counterclockwise, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, just to the left of the C is the letter F. Now, if you can remember, beginning with the letter F, fat boys eat all Doug grapes. Well, the first word of each of that saying are the letter names that go from counterclockwise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now remember, you got to put a flat symbol. It looks like a little B here. But you can put a flat symbol next to each of the letters B, E, A, D, and G. Right? G flat is going to share this position with F sharp. We'll go to that in a second. And these on the left are all the keys that have flats in them. The numbers on the inside of the circle represent the number of flats in that key, which is the letter outside the circle. For instance, the key of F has 1 flat. Now, starting with the letter C at the top, going clockwise 1 to 6, remember that cats go down alleys eating biscuits, fighting. The first letter of each one of those words is the letters that go on the outside of the circle clockwise. When you reach the end, the letter F has a sharp in front of it. It's F sharp. F sharp and G flat share the same number 6 at the bottom. So the keys on the right are all the keys that have sharps in their key signatures. And the numbers inside the circle represent the number of sharps those keys have. All right, so now let's see here if we can figure some stuff out here. Flats and sharps are going to appear in a very specific order. You won't see a key signature with sharps and flats together. And you won't notice any flats or sharps showing up out of sequence. For instance, if a key only has 1 flat, that 1 flat is going to be B. If a key has 2 flats, it'll be B and E. Now you can remember the orders of flats, B, E, A, D, G, C, F, or boys eat all the greasy cheese fries. And if you notice, the order of sharps is the same thing as the order of flats, but it's reversed. Instead of B, E, A, D, G, C, F, we have F, C, G, D, A, E, B. And if you can remember that fat cats go down alleys eating biscuits, you're good to go. So these are the orders that sharps show up and the orders that flats show up, which will lead us to our next slide. Here's a treble clef and a bass clef. I'm not going to ask you to read the notes on the lines and spaces. I'm just going to ask you to count. How many flats do you see here? Well, there's 4. So look at the circle of fifths. On the flat side, find the number 4. And what letter is outside the circle across from that 4? A flat. So guess what key we're in? We're in the key of A flat. All right, so now we know we're in the key of A flat. What notes get flats in this key? I'm glad you asked. How many flats do we see? There's 4. So look at up there in the order of flats, B, E, A, D, G, C, F. And you notice I have the letters B, E, A, and D, the first 4 letters. That's what notes get flatted in the key of A flat because it has 4 flats. So in the key of A flat, B, E, A, and D get flats. So now, let's just write the letter names from A to A. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Don't worry about the flats or sharps or nothing. Just write A to A. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Because it's an A flat, we're going to start with the letter A. Now, step 2, put the flat symbol next to the letters that we learned about up above there. Put a flat next to the B, to the E, to the A, and the D. And guess what we have? We have our A flat major scale. That's important information. So we can do this with any of these scales here. Now let's take a sharp key. We're going to use the letter A again because we have 3 sharps over here to the right, correct? And find the number 3 on the sharp side of the circle. And what's the letter outside that 3? A. We're in the key of A. Does that make sense? Now, what notes get sharps in the key of A? Well, we said there are 3 sharps. So look at the order of sharps up there, F, C, G, D, A, E, B, and notice I've numbered 1, 2, 3. We take the first 3 letters, and those are the notes that get sharped in the key of A. So once again, let's write out our letters, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, and then apply the sharps to that scale. Now, why am I going from A to A? Well, because we're in the key of A. So put the sharp symbol next to F, C, and G. And there is our A major scale. Does that make sense? So now, here's an exercise for you. And you can take a screenshot of this if you want. Put the flat or sharp symbol next to the letters for the notes in each key below. For instance, let's look at the key of F. How many flats are in the key of F? 1. So what note, what letter would get a flat next to it? The B. So our F major scale would be F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F. On the sharp side of the house, key of G. How many sharps are in the key of G? Well, look inside circle across from G, you see 1. All right, 1 sharp. What note will get sharped? The F. We'll have a sharp next to it. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. So go around the circle and put the flats and the sharps next to the notes that are required. And these will be your 12 major scales. We're not going to learn any more major scales than this. Now, I tell my students all the time, don't memorize the scales. Memorize instead how to use the circle of fifths to build the scales and build the scale each time. Eventually, this stuff will just become embedded in your brain and you'll never be able to forget it. I want you to become totally familiar with the circle of fifths. I want it to be second nature for you just to refer to the circle of fifths. So, draw the circle of fifths. Like you see here, fill in the flats or sharps, and these will be your 12 keys. Fantastic. We're done with chapter 1. Let's get ready for chapter 2. Now, in chapter 2, we're going to build on what we learned in chapter 1, and we're going to take a little bit of a deeper dive into the major scale. I'm going to show you how to use a circle of fifths to figure out what kind of chords are where. Every major scale has major chords, minor chords, and diminished chords. Which are which? Which ones are they? So glad you asked. That's what we're going to find out in Chapter 2. And don't forget, you can order your copy of the workbook that goes with the set of 5 podcasts for $12 by emailing me at page@emergingcomposer.com or ffog@me.com. Have a great day. Let's get on to Chapter 2.